Let's go. All right. This home is so complex. And when you look at a home, or especially this home, there are millions of pieces and parts, literally millions and millions of pieces and parts that are in this home. So Ben, tell us how you think through getting the builder all of the information at timely points, checkpoints during the process.
I think there's that awful expression that you can't eat an elephant in one go. You have to take small bites. I love that expression only to say to any client that's embarking upon a construction project and to all the team of collaborators, like, you don't have to make all the decisions all up front. The notion or the idea of it is seductive, but it's also terrifying. And it's also not necessarily productive. It may be seductive, but it's not necessarily productive. So the reason I say that is that anytime we're working with a collaborator, we kind of ask them, like we did you, furnish us a calendar of construction. And let's look at the decisions that need to be made at key points so that we're never slowing down the construction. We're only feeding you the information you need at that certain time. And I think that is the key to really making sure a project stays on task and is adhering to a construction schedule, is that commitment to the schedule. And I think that's obviously, you furnish all of your collaborators, whether there be other architects or other designers, you tell them what calendar of selections are and what they need to be, and you make sure that they're giving you that information in a timely fashion. And if they don't, they're the reason for the delay. It's not you. It's like, I needed this information back in October and I'm still waiting on it. And as you wait, there's an inevitable delay.
Yes. And so one amazing thing that your team committed to and our team committed to is meeting once a week. So we met once a week, every week.
At a minimum.
At a minimum. And it was Monday morning at 8 a.m. before the whole world took over our lives, right? So Monday morning, 8 a.m., we had agendas, we had schedules. We filtered through the most important information together.
That was so key.
Right. And so that we could team up with each other and even switch gears. Maybe the construction schedule changed a little bit and we had to shift this way. And the architects and designers need to know that, because that may affect what they're actually selecting and how they're working through things. So one question I have for Ben is, how do you filter through these finish schedules? Like, to me, I've always heard, and you can confirm this, we really love to have all of our lighting as soon as we can, but we don't always get it. And some of it's related to, well, we need to select our mirrors. What are some key things where you need something in order to make another decision? Just simple things.
Well, I think in most construction schedules, one of the first things we always have to select is plumbing to that point. And there's some reason I get asked all the time, well, why plumbing? That seems like one of the last things installed. But anything that, if you have a slab foundation, which most houses today are built on slab foundations or some kind of concrete foundation, if you have any plumbing that is attached to the ground, and that could be a bathtub, a toilet, it could be a tub filler, it could be the tub itself, it could be any aspect of that which has a drain and a supply. You want to make sure that all your utilities are run, like all the drain lines and supply lines are run to the correct location before the slab is even poured. So it's really important that we go ahead and do that plumbing selection. I try to see if a client is willing and up for the adventure of selecting finishes early on. Even if we change them later on, the trims for the plumbing, the final thing that you actually see, doesn't need to be ordered at the beginning. So identify the product that you love. Let's go ahead and make some preliminary decisions about finishes with the mindset that you can always change what those finishes are later. For me, that's one of the most critical things, and it is one of those small bites that you can take that does have major consequences, but it doesn't feel super overwhelming to do it early in the process. So I think that's probably the main one that we do. After that, appliances, just because there's such long lead times on certain types and brands of appliances. A lot of our clients want Sub-Zero Wolf. They probably have the longest lead time right now. So we want to order those just to make sure they're available. And then we can get into things like lighting and electrical. But for me, the architectural lighting, just knowing that is the most important. And then we try to over-engineer for the aspects of the project. If we know a big heavy chandelier is going to go in there, we want to put a really substantial bracing in the ceiling for it. Even if we don't have that chandelier selected yet, we want to make sure that we've been smart about that.
So one thing you mentioned is architectural lighting. So this is a term that is now developed, I would say the last 2 years, where you'll hear architectural lighting a lot. That means recess cans. That means, right?
Thank you for decoding that.
Right.
You were correct.
But that's like, as people are listening, so architectural lighting, and oftentimes we have a lighting consultant.
Correct.
That then works with you to determine those locations, art lighting.
So it could be, to your point, recess can lighting. It could be LED strip lighting, which there's been such an explosion of that in the market. And we, as architects and designers, have to really think through their skillful application. It could be also things like accent lighting, to your point. If you have a robust lighting plan and you're really thinking about art lighting versus just general lighting in the house, then there's all sorts of types of fixtures that are really, really required at every step of the project. Step lights along, stairs and pathways. I mean, so many things can be lumped into this broad category of architectural lighting. And this is to distinguish itself from decorative lighting, which is any of those kind of pretty fixtures that are layered in on top of the design, express character and style and all the other things.
Right. One of the things in this home are the layers of lighting that, there are different layers that illuminate certain times of the day or moods of the day.
Correct.
And so, that's a longer conversation with lighting control and lighting
100%.
Consultants.
But it's an important part. I mean, you have to think about what layers you are going to use at different times of the day and how you have to make sure that those layers are controllable layers, that you have that flexibility to program as the house is really commissioned.
Yes.